Good afternoon, all. Today is You Can Do Hard Things. That's what the title of today's video log is. You can do hard things. Reflect upon things, I think about hard things. And I often think about this generation that they've never had to do hard things. Most generations in the past, you can look back and see some societal issues and things like that that create hard things. My particular generation had the Vietnam War. It was a very hard thing, and it was a thing that eventually the young people rose up and said no more. But on a personal level, it's important to have hard things in your life and know that you can overcome and that you can accomplish things and do things that are hard that you look at and you think, I can't do that. And also sometimes life throws curves at you and you experience some things that you think, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Looking back now after 73 years, I recognize that almost all those things were, yes, hard, but they didn't last long. And I remember my dad always would say, this too will pass. Whenever I had issues or problems or challenges, and I've had my share, he would say, don't worry, this too will pass. And so I guess that's what I'm telling the next generation, my posterity, is no matter what the situation is or how hard it is or how you think the world is coming to an end and oh my gosh, this too will pass. It will go. It will not last forever, and you'll learn something from it, and it'll make you wiser, smarter, and better, and it'll be good for you. I'll give you an example in my life of a hard thing. It seems kind of trivial now, but I'll relate this story. Back in the 60s, they didn't have really great big fancy electronic farm equipment, and a lot of the work was done by simple tractors and implements, and they didn't have hay bales that are great big round hay bales that they have now that are very efficient to make and very efficient to handle, virtually no human effort in it. Back then you had hay bales, and each bale weighed between 40 and 60 pounds and was very cumbersome and was held together with wire. And in order to get that to the point where you could bale it, you had to cut the hay, and then you had to what's called windrow it, which was to bunch it up into a row so that when you took the baler, it would pick up the row, which was about 2 feet wide at the most, and then it would compact the hay and create the bale. And when you cut hay or alfalfa hay, you have to let it sit and dry for a little bit, because if you bale it too soon, it'll get moldy and fungus will grow and it will make the cows sick the next winter when you're feeding. So you have to let it dry a certain amount, and then you bale it. Well, one summer, the field was cut, the hay was windrowed, and it was sitting drying. And as you might know, a storm came, and all the windrows went into a great big spiral. If you think about a string that you just start a spiral and go round and round and round and round and round, that's what our windrows looked like. And there was no way, except on a hot summer day, get out there with pitchforks and pull that spiral apart and get it set up so that you could take the hay baler and make the hay. And I think that was one of the absolute worst days of my life, hardest days of my life, extremely hard thing to do. Dusty, dirty, hot, sweaty, and hugely physically demanding. and I was in high school at the time. But I look back on it, and it was a great blessing to have that experience and to have that hard time. I can do it. So I guess the moral of the story is, don't be afraid of hard things, even in your personal life. Embrace it. Go for it. And let the chips fall. I guarantee you, you'll come out better for it.
That's all, folks.